Now, the big feud in World Class was the Von Erichs and Freebirds, which lasted, boy, the best part of 5 years. And the big flashpoint was 1982 when Terry Gordy slammed the cage door on Kerry's head.
Yeah.
And that was during a title match against you with Michael Hayes as guest referee. I think that was on Christmas night.
It was.
What was that show like? Because I saw the video. The heat was incredible.
Full-fledged riot. Full-fledged riot. The only thing that got me through it was Manning, who was, Dave was crazy, not fearless whatsoever. All the boys came out of the dressing room. It was a crazy crowd. It was very similar to that night in Atlanta when we turned on Dusty, where the crowd wouldn't let us out of the cage. You know what I mean? So you're fighting for your life to get out of that place. It was the way it was in the old days. The cops were as big a fans as the fans, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So it's not like they were going out of their way to knock anybody out with a nightstick. No, it was a fight. That was the old Reunion Arena. It was a fight to get back.
Now, when the cage door slammed and it made this incredible noise, which was a big part of getting it over, did you know right then and there it was going to be big? Could you tell?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Kerry and I just had an average match, but a lot of drama. And he was so over. Just so the fans just loved that kid. Like Ricky Morton in North Carolina, or like Tommy Rich in Georgia, or trying to think of very few people that had that kind of just, especially in their hometown, and they just loved that kid. And he was handsome and built, a great physique, and we had an average match, but you would think it would have been like, what do you guys call it, some big 5-star match. It wasn't by any means, but we did our usual stuff, the press slams. I whacked myself about 5 times. And Michael Hayes was great in it. And then the drama, the surprise was Terry coming down. But that led into so much money. Every time I was in Texas, that whole time the Von Erich family was healthy, we were sold out everywhere. And I mean sold out everywhere.
And that was a big part of your job as the touring NWA World Champion, wasn't it? To be the fulcrum of angles that you would then leave behind and would carry on. It reminds me of the one we talked about a couple of weeks ago in Mid-South, where Ted DiBiase turned babyface.
Yeah.
Like, you were involved and then you left, to continue touring, but the angle kept drawing money.
With Murdoch and DiBiase, huge.
Now, Kerry beat you for the world title in May of 1984. That was Texas Stadium.
Yep.
45,000 fans. You alluded to this earlier, Nate, but was David supposed to win the title? Was that kind of a favor to Fritz because of what happened with David to give Kerry the belt?
I don't know if David. I don't know if David was always supposed to win. I think they had plans for him to become the world champion, but it was just an opportunity to celebrate David's life. And here's what happened. Because they were afraid it would be cold, they ran it at 1 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It was 107 degrees.
Oh!
Instead of running it that night. We would have been sold out had they done it at night. But by the time Kerry and I got to the ring, they were carrying people off the field from dehydration. So it was a unique experience. It was Reunion Arena. I'm sitting there. I was changing in Randy White's locker. I mean, it was.
No, Texas Stadium.
I mean Texas Stadium. I was changing in Randy White's locker. I mean, we were in the football locker room. It was really cool for me. And I told you the story the night before. I was in Portland wrestling Piper with Red Bastien. So I just got on a plane not knowing what to expect, but to walk into that was pretty damn fantastic.
Now, that wasn't a long match, if memory serves, was it?
We probably went 20 minutes.
And Kerry won with the backslide. That was kind of out of nowhere.
No, that's because we knew we could do that. There's a thought process behind that.
Now, you got the
Kerry was not feeling that well that day.
Well, we're gonna get to that in a second.
He was very excited.
But by the way, what a crowd pop that was when Kerry won. I mean, it definitely delivered the payoff, didn't it?
Yes, absolutely. People have forgotten all about the backslide. They just remember the moment.